Hi everyone. This is a tutorial to help you assess your course learning outcome or your support area outcome. The document that's going to help us do that is located on the Faculty Senate homepage, which is part of the Leeward Community College website. After finding the Faculty Senate homepage, go ahead and click under Committees. And then click on Program Review, Institutional Research and Assessment Committee, which by the way in the future will just simply be called Assessment Committee. In that site, click under Document, Course/Support Area Learning Outcome Assessment Example. This is a table that's broken up into two parts. The top part are the directions to help you assess your course or support area outcome. On the bottom is an example that you can see what the answers are supposed to look like. This table is very handy for several reasons. The first is that you can just copy and paste your answers directly into your future contract renewal, tenure, or promotion document to show how you've been assessing student learning or your support area. The second great thing is that the answers that you write under the bottom under examples can be typed directly into TK20 to show that you've been assessing the course. To get started, you would want to do the first thing, which is choose one of your course learning outcomes or support area outcomes that you want to assess and analyze. However, sometimes it's very difficult for us to know exactly what has been used in the past to support those learning outcomes. So sometimes it's just easier to start with an assessment or assignment that you think measures that outcome. For example, I chose standards-based lesson plan that we do in my class as a way to measure this course learning outcome. I can say, the idea is that I can say that if students do well on this assignment, then they can do well on that course learning outcome. So once you've chosen an assessment or assignment that you feel is measuring the outcome, then you just answer a series of sort of simple TK20 questions. For example, is the measure direct or indirect, which simply means is it an actual score versus a perception survey? And indirect is when you're asking students what they thought about it. So this is a direct type. This is an actual grade that I gave them. Is the measure scored with a rubric or answer key? I use a rubric, and that's important because that tells us whether or not the response is an open response, which means that it has several different answers available to it. An answer key just has one answer. How many students are assessed? There were 81 students, and so I'm combining my different classes with that assignment. And does the number of students represent all the students or a sample? In this case, I said all the students, but you certainly could sample your students. Then for the criteria for success, you want to determine what is the criteria that you would consider successful on an assessment. What's nice about this is that you can determine this. So for purposes of the example, this is arbitrary, but I chose that 70% of the students will reach a grade of a C or above. You could have chosen 80% or 60% or whatever you felt that your line of learning is. And then you would want to provide a breakdown of those points for the assessment. So here is my 70%, that's a C, that's how many points they need, and above accordingly, and then also D and F. I also included, and I think this is up to the instructor or support area outcome folks, is that I'm interested in also the people that never attempted the assignment, which means they never turned one in. It is very important to me to distinguish between a low grade and a grade that was never attempted. But again, that's up to the instructor. Then the results list how the students did, and I found out that there were 9 C's, 6 B's, and 35 A's. There were no D's, there were 9 F's, but there were 22 students who never turned in the assignment. Now if I listed those as an F, then that would muddle, which I would say that they tried it, but they didn't do very well. And that's not true at all. They never tried it, so I never got to find out if they knew it. The F's are folks that did it but did not do a competent job on that. And I broke it down. Since I'm only interested right here is how many percentage of folks actually got a C or above, I can then take that number and compare it to my minimum. And notice they did not reach my criteria. Then in the last one, I'm going to analyze the results and connect it to what I need in the future to be able to maybe raise that percentage. And so I might also add any resources. So my answer is, there appears to be a higher number of no attempts than my other assignments, and this suggests that students may be perceiving the assignment as too overwhelming. Hence, maybe I need an opportunity to do an indirect measure with their student perception. They may think it's too overwhelming. It is a large assignment due towards the end of the semester. So one action to increase success is to do something called flip the classroom, where the students complete actual portions of the assignment during class. To do this would require having access to a set of computers for them to work on, for me to be able to directly input that into the lesson plan format. So I might ask in my budget next year for classroom computers. And then I would also have a justification for that. And then I would go back and I would do that for each area outcome that I'm required to do over the course of the 5-year period, which is part of the policy. So that's it in a nutshell, and I would copy and paste that into TK20, and I would copy and paste that into my my learning outcomes under my promotion document. That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.